Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive on Cadence.
You bet. We're going to be looking at their Q3 2024 earnings call.
Yeah, we're going to unpack, what happened, how they did.
How are they thinking about the future?
Exactly. And I think the big headline here is that Cadence just crossed a pretty big milestone.
Yeah, they crossed the billion-dollar mark.
Over 1.2 billion.
In revenue, yeah.
With 19% year-over-year growth.
Which is phenomenal.
That's huge for a company of that size to be growing at that rate.
Absolutely.
So clearly they're doing something right.
Yeah, and I think one of the things they're doing right is...
What is it?
they're really focused on this idea of intelligent system design.
Okay, yeah, that was a big theme in the earnings call.
And you can see that in their numbers, like that segment alone grew over 40% year over year.
Okay, so before we go any further, I think it's important to take a step back and explain what exactly is intelligent system design?
Yeah, so, Cadence is known for EDA, right?
Right. Electronic design automation.
Which is software used to design chips.
The brains of all the electronics that we use.
Exactly. And so intelligent system design is really about taking that to the next level.
Okay, how so?
Well, it's about designing the entire system, not just the chip.
Okay, so thinking about how that chip is going to interact with all the other components in a device.
Exactly. So you're thinking about the software, the sensors, the mechanical components, everything.
So they're kind of like the architects of not just the building, but the entire city that the building is in.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
And this is becoming increasingly important because the systems we're designing are getting so complex.
Absolutely. Everything is getting smarter and more connected. Our phones, our cars, our homes.
Even our refrigerators are connected to the internet these days.
Exactly. And all these systems rely on really complex chips, and those chips need to work flawlessly within that entire ecosystem.
So Cadence is kind of like the maestro of this whole orchestra.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And one of the biggest drivers of this complexity is AI.
Oh, absolutely. AI is everywhere these days.
And it's putting a lot of pressure on chip designers to come up with even more powerful and efficient chips.
Exactly. And Cadence is really leaning into this trend.
Okay, how so?
Well, first of all, they're seeing huge demand for their AI-driven design tools.
So they're building the tools that are enabling this AI revolution.
Exactly. And these tools are becoming incredibly powerful.
In what way?
Well, they can actually help designers create chips that are faster, smaller, and more power efficient.
So they're not just helping to design chips, they're helping to design better chips.
Exactly. And that's giving Cadence a huge competitive advantage.
And they're not keeping all this AI goodness to themselves, are they?
No, they're actually partnering with some of the biggest names in AI, like NVIDIA.
What are they doing with NVIDIA?
Well, they're using NVIDIA's technology to develop even more powerful AI tools.
So it's like a superpower team up.
Exactly. And this is really paying off for Cadence.
How so?
Well, their AI-driven design tools have seen sales nearly triple in the past year.
Well, that's impressive.
It is, and it really shows that Cadence is at the forefront of this AI revolution.
So it sounds like Cadence is making some really smart moves here.
They are. They're expanding into system design, they're leading the charge in AI-driven design, and they're forging powerful partnerships.
But how is all of this translating into their bottom line?
Well, let's take a look at their multi-physics portfolio, which combines physics-based modeling with AI optimization.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So this is a big part of their system design business, and it's seeing really strong growth.
Give me some specifics. What products are we talking about here?
Well, they have products like Clarity and Celsius, which are used to design everything from 5G antennas to electric vehicle powertrains.
So they're not just designing chips, they're designing the systems that those chips go into.
Exactly, and this is a huge market opportunity for them.
And they're also seeing success with their acquisition of Beta CA.
Absolutely. Beta CA specializes in simulation software for things like electric vehicles.
So they're really doubling down on the automotive market.
They are, and it's a smart move because the EV market is exploding.
Absolutely. So they're not just betting on AI, they're betting on the whole future of transportation.
They are.
Smart move. But let's get real for a second. There's been a lot of talk about a global economic slowdown, particularly in China, which is a huge market for semiconductors.
That's right.
How is that playing out for Cadence?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is. I mean, China is a major player in the tech world.
Absolutely. But here's the interesting thing. Cadence is actually seeing a rebound in their China business.
Really? Amidst all the doom and gloom?
Yeah, they specifically called out that Q3 was stronger than Q2.
Okay, so they're not immune to global economics, but they're showing resilience.
They are. And you know what they say? Never put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. So what else is driving their growth?
Well, their IP business is absolutely on fire, delivering over 50% year-over-year revenue growth.
IP, that stands for intellectual property, right?
Right. That's right. So this is essentially pre-designed blocks of circuitry that chip designers can license and use in their own designs.
Kind of like Lego bricks for chip design.
Yeah, exactly. And this is becoming increasingly important as chips get more and more complex.
Because it allows designers to focus on the really innovative parts of their designs without having to reinvent the wheel every time.
Exactly.
So their IP business is booming. What else?
Well, their new hardware systems, which are used for testing and validating chip designs, are experiencing incredible demand.
Particularly from companies focused on AI, hyperscale computing, and automotive.
Exactly. So they're offering the whole package, the software, the IP, and even the hardware to test it all out.
They're really covering all their bases.
They are, and it's a smart strategy because it gives them multiple avenues for growth.
So it sounds like Cadence is firing on all cylinders.
They are. They're executing well across their entire portfolio.
Well, this deep dive has been incredibly insightful. So far, we've uncovered Cadence's exceptional Q3 performance, their strategic focus on AI, their smart expansion into system design, their booming IP business, and even their cautious optimism about the China market.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting look at their business.
What a ride. But
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not done yet, right? There's still more to unpack.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot more. We need to dig into their partnerships, their approach to AI, and what all of this means for the future of the semiconductor industry.
Well, consider me hooked. Can't wait to dive back in.
Me too. All right, so welcome back to our deep dive on Cadence.
Yeah, we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of their business now.
Yeah, and one of the things that really stood out to me is their focus on partnerships.
Yeah, they mentioned collaborations with some pretty big names like ARM, TSMC, NVIDIA.
Yeah, these are not just like casual handshakes, you know?
Right, they're really strategic alliances.
Exactly. They're about integrating technologies and expertise.
So it's more than just putting a logo on a website.
Right. It's about actually working together to create something new and innovative.
So let's break it down. First up, we have ARM. Why is this partnership so important for Cadence?
Well, ARM is kind of the 800-pound gorilla in the room when it comes to chip design.
Right, they design the underlying architecture for most of the world's processors.
Exactly. So by partnering with ARM, Cadence ensures that their tools and IP are compatible with all those ARM-based designs.
So it's about making sure everything works together seamlessly.
Right, and it goes even deeper than that. They're actually working together to develop new technologies like next-generation AI and advanced computing subsystems.
Wow, so it's a pretty deep collaboration.
It is, and it's a win-win for both companies.
Okay, next up we have TSMC. Now they're the world's largest contract chip manufacturer, right?
That's right. TSMC is like the factory where all these chips are actually made.
So this partnership is all about making sure that the designs created using Cadence's tools can actually be manufactured by TSMC.
Right. They need to make sure those designs can be translated into physical chips.
So it's like having the architect work closely with the construction company.
Exactly. They need to make sure the blueprint can be turned into a real building.
And lastly, we have NVIDIA, the leader in AI hardware and software. What's going on there?
Well, this partnership is all about pushing the boundaries of AI.
Okay, how so?
Well, Cadence is using NVIDIA's expertise to build custom AI applications for their own tools.
So they're using AI to make their tools even smarter.
Exactly. And they're also collaborating on projects related to generative AI.
Okay, now generative AI is a hot topic these days. Can you explain what that is and why it's such a big deal for Cadence?
Sure. So generative AI is all about using AI to actually create things.
Like what kind of things?
Well, it can be used to generate new designs, write code, create music, even write poetry.
Wow, so it's like having an AI that's also an artist or a musician.
Yeah, kind of. And Cadence is already using generative AI to enhance their tools and even their customer support.
So these partnerships are really about tapping into specialized expertise and accelerating innovation.
Exactly. And it's not just about working with these big companies.
Right, they also have a whole ecosystem of smaller partners and developers.
Exactly. So it's a very collaborative approach.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about partnerships, but let's bring it back to AI. We've talked about AI-driven design tools and generative AI. But what does this AI focus really mean for Cadence's business model?
Well, I think AI is fundamentally changing the way chips are designed.
How so?
Well, it's allowing designers to create chips that are more complex and more powerful than ever before.
And doing it faster and more efficiently.
Exactly. And that's a huge advantage for Cadence because their tools are at the forefront of this AI revolution.
But some people might say that if these tools get so powerful that they completely automate chip design.
Then what would happen to Cadence's business?
Exactly. Is that a threat to their business model?
I don't think so. I think it's actually an opportunity.
How so?
Well, because Cadence is not just a software company, they're a solutions provider.
Right. They're not just selling tools, they're selling expertise.
Exactly. And their expertise is more valuable than ever in this AI-driven world.
So they're positioning themselves as the go-to partner for companies who want to design the next generation of AI-powered chips.
Exactly. And that's a very smart strategy.
Okay, so we've talked about partnerships, we've talked about AI. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about their specific products. What stood out to you in terms of their product performance?
Well, aside from their core EDA software, which is still doing very well.
Right, that's their bread and butter.
Exactly. There are a couple of areas that really impressed me. First, their hardware business is doing exceptionally well.
Hardware. We haven't talked much about that side of their business.
Right, so they actually sell hardware systems that are used to test and validate chip designs.
So it's like a virtual test drive for chips.
Yeah, you can think of it that way. And these systems are in high demand because chips are getting so complex.
So they need these sophisticated systems to make sure everything works properly.
Exactly. And Cadence is a leader in this space.
Okay, so hardware is a clear growth area for them. What else?
Their multi-physics portfolio is also doing really well.
Now, we touched on this earlier. What exactly is multiphysics?
So it's basically a combination of physics-based modeling and AI optimization.
Okay, and what's that used for?
It's used to design everything from 5G antennas to electric vehicle powertrains.
Wow, so it's pretty diverse.
It is, and it's a key part of their system design strategy.
So they're not just designing chips, they're designing the systems that those chips go into.
Exactly, and that's a huge market opportunity for them.
Well, this deep dive has been incredibly insightful. We've gone from their financial performance to their partnerships, their product strategy, and their focus on AI.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
But now I'm really curious to explore what all of this means for the future.
Yeah, the big question is, how will Cadence's technology shape the world around us?
Exactly. That's what we'll be discussing in the final part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned.
All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Cadence.
Looking at their Q3 2024 earnings call.
And, we've talked about their financial performance,
Their products.
their AI focus, their partnerships.
Yeah.
But now I want to kind of step back and think about the big picture.
The big picture.
What does all of this mean for the future?
Yeah. Where is all of this headed?
Exactly. How is Cadence's technology going to shape the world around us?
So I think one of the key things to think about is how AI is going to become more and more integrated into our everyday lives.
AI is already everywhere.
It is, but it's going to become even more pervasive.
Right, like almost invisible.
Exactly, like we won't even think about it.
So paint me a picture. What does that world look like?
Well, imagine a world where AI is managing traffic flow in cities.
Okay, no more traffic jams.
Hopefully.
That would be amazing.
Imagine healthcare, where AI is helping doctors diagnose diseases earlier.
And personalized treatments?
Exactly. Imagine homes that are truly smart.
Like they anticipate our needs.
They adjust the temperature, the lighting, they even suggest recipes.
That sounds pretty amazing.
It does, and Cadence is playing a key role in making all of this possible.
How so?
Their technology is powering the chips and the systems that will enable all these AI-driven experiences.
So they're not just building the tools, we're building the foundation for this AI-powered future.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the consumer side of things.
Right.
But what about the impact on industries, on businesses?
Yeah. AI is going to transform the way businesses operate.
In what way?
Well, think about manufacturing, for example. AI is going to enable factories to become much more efficient.
Right, like robots that can learn and adapt.
Exactly, and Cadence is providing the tools to design the chips that power those robots.
So they're not just impacting our personal lives, they're impacting the entire economy.
Absolutely, and it goes beyond that.
What do you mean?
AI is also going to revolutionize scientific research.
Okay, give me some examples.
Well, AI is already being used to accelerate drug discovery,
To develop new materials.
to model climate change.
So Cadence is playing a role in solving some of the world's biggest challenges.
They are, and that's really exciting.
It is, but every revolution has its challenges, its risks, its uncertainties.
Right.
What are some of the potential roadblocks that Cadence might face as it navigates this AI-powered future?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is the pace of innovation.
AI is evolving so quickly.
It's a constant race to stay ahead of the curve.
So Cadence needs to keep investing in R&D.
They do, and they need to make sure they're attracting and retaining top talent.
Right, because the demand for AI expertise is huge.
It is, and it's only going to grow.
So it's a battle for brains.
It is, and there's also the risk of disruption.
What do you mean?
New technologies could emerge that completely change the game.
Right, or new competitors could come out of nowhere.
Exactly. So Cadence needs to be very agile and adaptable.
They can't just rest on their laurels.
They need to be constantly innovating.
Well, this deep dive has been incredibly enlightening.
It has. It's been a fascinating look at Cadence and their role in shaping the future.
We've covered so much ground.
From their financial performance to the broader implications of AI.
And I think the key takeaway here is that Cadence is a company to watch.
They are. They're at the forefront of some really transformative technologies.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. Pay attention to Cadence.
Yeah, their story is about more than just technology.
It's about innovation.
It's about ambition.
And it's about the power of human ingenuity.
To shape the world around us.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.